All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to start with a pretty simple story about a squirrel. Why? Because, sometimes the biggest, most complicated economic forces, they actually make the most sense when you look at them through the smallest of lives.
Just let that sit for a second. Nothing about the forest really changed. The trees are the same. The squirrel worked just as hard as last year. And yet, that feeling of security, it's just not quite there. The same amount of work is buying less peace of mind. And that quiet little imbalance is exactly what we're going to unpack today.
I mean, it's the question, isn't it? We've all been there. You're at the grocery store, you're filling up your car, you're looking at your bills, and you get this nagging feeling that even if your paycheck is the same, you just feel a little less stable. Well, today, we're getting to the bottom of that feeling. We're calling this first part the silent squeeze, and that's really the perfect way to describe it. Inflation isn't some sudden car crash. No, it's more like this slow, creeping pressure that you barely notice day to day, but it's always there. So if you feel like you're working harder and harder just to stay in the exact same spot, listen up. You are not imagining it. And you're not failing. You're just up against this invisible economic force that is constantly reshaping the value of every single dollar you earn.
And this idea, wow, it just flips everything we've been taught about money on its head, doesn't it? We're told to save, put your money away, keep it safe, let it sit still. But this reveals a really uncomfortable truth. In the world we live in, the act of standing still with your money is actually a losing game.
So how in the world does this actually happen? How can standing still mean falling behind? Well, let's figure that out in our next section, the acorn illusion. We're going to go right back to our squirrel to see what's really going on here.
Okay, so imagine all of a sudden, the forest is just flooded with new acorns. Not because the trees got healthier, but because someone is just, poof, creating more of them. Now, with acorns literally everywhere, each individual acorn is suddenly worth a little bit less. That's inflation in a nutshell. It's not that things are getting more expensive, it's that the money we use to buy them is getting weaker.
And here's the quiet part, the part that really stings. Your bank account might have the same number in it, but what that number can actually buy you, that's its purchasing power, is slowly, silently shrinking. It's a quiet erosion of your hard-earned wealth.
And this is exactly why it feels like the cost of everything, from the milk and eggs you buy every week to the huge expenses like housing and healthcare, just seems to go in one direction, up. It's not usually about these massive price jumps overnight. No, it's more of a slow, cumulative drift. A few percent here, a few percent there, year after year, just grinding away at your savings.
Okay, so this brings us to a very, very human reaction. When things feel uncertain, when the future seems a little shaky, what's our gut instinct? It's to hold on tight, to hoard. But as we're about to see, that instinct can be surprisingly dangerous.
Let's go back to our squirrel. He might get scared and decide to hide every single one of his acorns under one big, heavily guarded tree. And that feels safe, right? It's logical, it's controlled, but having everything in one spot is also a massive weakness. All it takes is one big storm, one hungry predator, and poof, everything is gone. The exact same thing is true for your money.
And this lays it out perfectly, side by side. Our instinct is to hoard. You have one big pile, which means you have one big risk. That makes you fragile. The smarter strategy? Diversification. You have many smaller piles, which spreads out your risk, and that's what makes you resilient.
So, let's talk about that smarter strategy. Because the goal here isn't necessarily about getting fabulously rich, it's about building resilience. It's about being able to survive and even thrive, no matter what the economic weather forecast looks like.
And this right here, this is the key mindset shift you have to make. You stop trying to guess what's going to happen next, which, let's be honest, is impossible. And instead, you build a financial system for yourself that can handle lots of different possible futures. You just accept that uncertainty is a permanent part of life.
So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, it means not betting your entire future on a single company's stock. It means not trusting just one country's currency. It means not putting all your eggs in one basket like real estate. It means you're preparing for a world where any one of those things could stumble. Now, all of this has been building up to our final and honestly our most important insight. If you take away just one single thing from this whole explainer, please let it be this idea: money isn't wealth.
Let's just let that sink in for a minute. Money itself isn't the valuable thing. It's
It's like a ticket. It's a claim check that you can trade for things that have actual real value. And just like any ticket, if you print way too many of them, each one becomes worth a little bit less.
So what's the real wealth then? It's the stuff that actually does things in our world. It's the businesses that are creating products people want. It's the infrastructure that connects all of us. It's the skills people have, the new ideas that solve real problems. These are the assets that can actually adapt and grow over time.
And here's the whole game in one sentence. The value of real assets, like a piece of a good business, tends to adjust upwards as prices in general go up. It floats. But the value of currency, of cash just sitting there, it can only get diluted. It sinks. This is why investing, over the long run, tends to beat inflation.
So let's just recap the path we've walked here. Number 1, stop blaming yourself. Inflation is just part of the system we're in. Number 2, real safety doesn't come from hiding your money away. It comes from making it adaptable. And 3, the whole point is to set things up so that time is working for you, not against you. But this brings up an even scarier thought, doesn't it? We've talked all about the risk of your money just sitting still and losing its power. But what about the danger of money that's actively moving against you, digging you into a deeper hole every single day?
And that is exactly where we're going next time. We're going to tackle the other side of this financial coin, the invisible and often absolutely crushing math of debt. So you're going to want to stick around for that one.
For now, I want to leave you with this thought. Look, being disciplined and putting money aside, that matters. Of course it does. But the strategy, the how, the structure you build for your future, that is ultimately what's going to determine if you can weather the storms.
Because in a world that is always changing, the ability to adapt and bounce back will always be more valuable than just having the biggest pile of acorns under a single tree. Thanks for tuning in.